We were created, raised up from the dust. Life from the Creator's essence breathed into us. Personified worshipers completely completed by God's company. Eden would not last long. Our enemy slithering slowly low to the ground, convincing us disobedience was better than trust in the one who made us. We were fooled. Just as many of us are today, we betrayed the one whose image we were made in. Sin came in, infecting the entire earth, and humanity had fallen away. And God watched, knowing the wages for our sin was death, knowing that we did not deserve to take another breath, and yet His patient love endured far more than what we were worthy of. When everyone else would have turned away, when everyone else would have given up, He came close and spoke of all the promises He had made to us. Centuries of struggle, millennia of sacrifices that could never completely repay or make up for what deception had taken away. Humanity was broken, defeated, dead in their trespasses and iniquities. But God was not done with the story. The same God that breathed life into creation saw us in all of our misery. He who had raised us up from the dust, He who had parted the waves and called each of us by our names, would continue to be faithful and prove to not only be a God that creates, but also one who saves. We were slaves, shackled to a debt that we could never pay. But the prophet spoke of one to come, one who would make a way, one who would be despised when he should have been praised, one who would be completely innocent and yet choose to take up my pain, one who would bear the rejection of God in the place of my name. His name is Jesus. And He is the Messiah, the Lamb, the promised one. He is the Alpha and Omega, our deliverer, God's beloved Son. He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the Almighty One. He is the one who was, who is, and who is to come. But the world did not receive the one that God had sent. Just like in Eden, our enemy tried to persuade the Savior to sin, but He stood in the gap for us and resisted the temptation. And yet, doing nothing wrong, people still hated Him. They called Him a liar, a false prophet, a devil in skin, but not even humanity itself could stop the love that He would give. They arrested Him, beating Him before bringing Him to a judge. All these men testified lies, saying He was guilty because they wanted His blood. And He sat silent, knowing that at His call He could be saved. One command and a horde of angels would have came, but He saw each of us struggling with the sin by which we had been enslaved. He allowed the shackles, the whips, the punches and chains. He allowed the spit, the crown of thorns, and took the lashes and pain. He endured and carried that rugged cross in my place, and He didn't fight back so that we could be saved. Did you know that they crucified Him? Did you know that they gambled away His clothes while He hung? Did you know that they gave Him vinegar when He asked for something to drink? Did you know that we deserved all of that pain? And on the cross He said, "It is finished." Our Savior, the Son of God, died there so that we could walk free of shame. But did you know that they placed Him in a borrowed grave, sealing it with a rock that would only remain for a total of 3 days? Sin thought that it had won, that we would all be its slaves, but did you know that my God, the Creator, was still one who saves? And Jesus might have died to free us from our chains, but the same name that had the authority to raise us up from the dust resurrected Himself and broke away from death's claim. Since the beginning, we have been deceived, unable to free ourselves from our jealousy, our envy, and our greed. You see, we were created free, but we chose to be slaves. So God sent His Son to break us from all the chains. So let us stand to our feet and give this Jesus our praise, because it's only through Him that we are still being raised.